Hi, I'm Chris Haigh and this is the Fiddle channel, and today we're going to play Stay All Night, Stay a Little Longer. Stay All Night was a request from Don, one of my supporters on Patreon, and he actually wants to learn this in order to sing it and accompany himself, which is quite a challenge because Western swing is normally done with 7 or 8 people. He's going to do a lot. But anyway, I'm going to show you the fiddle intro, the verse, the chorus, and a particular fiddle solo, and some ideas for accompaniment. This was written by Bob Wills in 1945, and it's partly based on a folk song called Shinbone Alley, and it has some of the words from that song. There are several recordings of this from Bob Wills, and the one I've based it on is the 1974 album, For the Last Time it's called, and he actually died very shortly after this recording, I believe. I particularly like the intro on this song. It's played by Bob Wills on the fiddle, and it perfectly sums up his style, which is a very important style to learn, I think. So let's just concentrate on that to start with. I'll play it without ornaments once, and then I'll put the ornaments in. I'll also play it without drones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are the basic notes, and it sounds nothing like Bob Wills at the moment. So we're going to add drones almost all the way through. So either D drones or G drones. And then another essential part of Bob Wills' style is the hammer-ons, like that. So the first note is a B, but we're going to play an open A, which is the next note down in the scale, before, and kind of hammer on that B note. And then the same again with the next B. And then we're going to go from just a little grace note of the preceding note, not the lower note, but the preceding note, which in this case is higher. And then another hammer on. And the syncopation, there's a lot of syncopation in here, and that's again pretty typical of Bob Wills' style. So let's just hear that with the backing. Then it's into the verse. I'll just play the verse and the chorus, the melody line, although this is not something you're probably going to do. If you listen to the recording I'm talking about, it's actually quite difficult to pick out what is the melody line because there's several people singing. in harmony, and I don't think they actually rehearsed before they did this. So it's a bit kind of ramshackle, but you get the idea. Now Don wanted to know how to back this up with solo fiddle. If you were doing that, I think something like that. You could pretty well ignore the chords. So something like this. Oh, to see my blue-eyed Sally lives way down in the Shinbone Alley. Number on the gate is the number on the door. Next house over is the grocery store. Stay all night, stay a little longer. Dance all night, dance a little longer. Put off your coat, drink in the corner. Don't see why, don't stay a little longer. So something really simple like that. But in a Western swing band, you're not going to be doing that. You are probably going to be silent during this while someone else does fills, but it may be your turn to do fills, in which case you can kind of solo behind it, providing it's quiet. It is an acceptable thing in Western swing style to solo behind any verse or chorus, but assuming you've got, let's say, 3 or 4 different soloists, you don't all do it at once. It's one or the other, preferably arranged in advance, so you know where you're going to be soloing. And whereas if you were standing next to the singer and playing at full volume, it would sound terrible. It would really get in the way. If you're in the background, then it's going to be fine. Or otherwise, you could do that, which you could also do with singing. Gotta see my blue-eyed Sally, and in fact, that's probably easier than what I suggested before. Yes, so that would work. Now let's go on to the solo, which on this recording I think was played by Johnny Gimble, but I don't have the original album. And there were several fiddlers on there, but it sounds to me like Johnny Gimble. And it's a nice solo with some good ideas. So let's take you through this slowly. I'll play all the way through it, and then I'll go back through it again and look at some of the details. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, first thing to say is that this solo is played what you might call straight. It's not played, which to someone not brought up in Texas, you might think is a strange way of playing swing fiddle. But swing fiddle in Texas is played straight. The rhythm is swung. The melodies are always played straight, and I found this difficult to understand when I was first learning Western swing. But yeah, you play it straight, no dabba 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 da, which is the normal kind of thing for swing fiddle. We don't do that. Right, let's go through the phrases. I really like the beginning. That's really punchy. It's kind of based on the melody of the vocal. This is a good phrase. So we're going from a G up to an E. And then in third position, sliding up the second finger. Just do that again. This is a great one. So it's second finger over third finger. And then it's second finger over fourth finger. And then lift off and rest. If that is too hard, that second over 4, then just do 4 over 3. It sounds almost the same, so just staying in first position. Here we go again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here, the bowing is really important. So it's one down and then slur those. And the whole phrase comes 4 times. And the guitar is doing something like that underneath that repeated phrase. So what sounds a bit boring on its own, when it's got the moving guitar line, sounds really interesting. And that's a typical Western swing or bluegrass ending. Descending all the way from a high B to a bottom G. Let's take it from the top. I will play the intro, I will play some kind of backing through the verse, and I'll play that solo. Okay, now I'm going to improvise a solo, and I'll show you some of the techniques that I will use, that I typically use in Western swing. So, there's room for lots of shuffles, so imagine a hoedown as part of your solo. I do a lot of chopped chords, that kind of stuff. So 2 notes chopped aggressively and slid from one position up a third. That stuff. Gaps. So a lot of attack at the heel, but that's where you get your attack from, down here. I'll be doing the major blues scale and repetition of simple phrases. So I will solo pretty much all through the structure, and let's just see what happens. Thanks for watching. If you like a PDF of this lesson, do subscribe to the channel, send me an email, I will send you a PDF, and all of my PDFs are available on my Patreon page. Thanks for watching, see you again soon.